Today we're going to be painting the Red King in under 90 minutes, but with a twist. I'm going to do it in the Big Chow Creative tutorial style.
Then the entirety of the cosmos is accessible to each and every individual's mind, connecting to the great mind, the great spirit.
What up, collectors? So today we'll be painting the Red King from Zombicide Green Hot, but then I'm gonna put a little challenge to myself today in painted in 90 minutes. Today I'll be challenging myself to follow within 90 minutes sort of like the structure of what Big Chow Creatives does, and you can see in the links below. It's how they painted Loki from the latest Simon game, and I want to see where this journey takes me. So if you're ready, let us begin. Alright, welcome back to yet another painting tutorial. Today, we'll be painting the Red King from Zombicide Green Hot within 90 minutes. Today's challenge for myself would be to follow the Big Chow Creative tutorial which they posted for the Simon Marvel game where they painted Loki. So how is this painting method different from the previous painting method which I've done? Is that they have placed the highlights first. So they are highlighting areas which are in the light first. So what they're doing, they do a value sketch before they put on the base colors. I want to see if this method is useful and it works for me. Okay. So the colors which I'm painting the Red King will be the stock colors as seen in the box art, and also I'll be adding in emerald field light from the bottom left corner. I will also be painting his reds in the future in the same way. There are some special rules for this necromancer during the game. Because he's the Red King, I think it gives them extra activations when he's activated or something like that. I'm not so sure about the rules for now, but right now I'm using Joe Sonia skin tone mixed in with Joe Sonia raw umber. And I'm placing in the highlights first. I find that this 90 minutes challenge gives me a good opportunity on a daily basis to try something new, because more often than not you see many things online and you ask yourself, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if I could try it, or that looks simple and the results look great, I want to give it a try. So today I'm going to give a tutorial a try, and I'm adding in a little bit more flesh tone to increase the values of the highlight. So one thing I like about this method is that immediately the model is very readable. You can see where the model's head is, and you can see the different components, such as his giant pet rat and the basket where he is releasing the rats. So I would say that this method is very useful for increasing readability. For the base coat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in a very wash-like manner. It's not something that I usually do, but I'm just going to give this a try. I'm not particularly fond of washing at this early stage, because to me it's still a little bit too messy, and I find the lack of control a bit concerning to me. But I'm just going to give it a try. As I said, these 90-minute challenges are meant to let me have an opportunity to try something new and to learn things along the way also. I find that throughout this time when I'm doing these 90-minute challenges, I've learned so much, because it really forces me to apply what I know onto the model in a very limited amount of time. It's more like taking an exam that you have to be strict with your time and pens down at the end of the exam. So as you guys can see, I'm starting to base coat the miniature using this washing method. At this stage, I'm starting to realize that maybe trying a new style or trying a new tutorial painting method during a painting challenge is it's a bit too much. I bit off a bit too much than I expected, but I was just ready to give the process a try. So I really encourage all painters out there, maybe just once a week, try painting something in a different style, or try painting something in a different method. I find I've been asked this quite a lot, because in this week there was a fellow painter who asked me, like, do I consciously do something to showcase my style in painting? I would say that my style is a translation of my methodology to painting, because I don't think I have a style. I have a set of preferred techniques which I constantly fall back upon when I'm painting my miniatures, and when I do so, I guess because I'm always using the same consistent method, the byproduct is it looks consistent and it becomes some sort of a style. So if you ask me, like, there are more famous painters like Kasha, who has a very distinct method of painting where she has a lot of free hands on every open area. But the thing is, when she was around with us in Singapore, when I've seen her paint, to her this methodology is her natural and a normal style of painting. She doesn't go out of her norm to paint something differently. Okay, so the thing is, if you want to adapt someone else's methodology to your methodology, you take a lot of practice and a lot of determination to make sure that you are comfortable painting that way. Most importantly, for aspiring miniature painters out there, I would say that don't seek out a style, rather seek out your own vision, something that you have in mind, and your style will manifest along the way, because it's just your preferred method. So anyway, back to today's topic. Today I'm trying something new, because I've added in the values first, and then I'm base coating. And then when you're adding in the values and then base coating, you don't want, every time we base coat, you will reduce the values. You will rather neutralize the values. But the thing is, if you do it, that's why I tended to use a thinner base coat. I have no idea how they did it, because in the tutorial they said place the values correctly. So I would think that either they put on the values and then did a thin wash base coat like thing, or they did it in layers, because the first step was just to differentiate where was in the main light and where was in the shadows. So this is my interpretation of what I've understood from the tutorial. But along the way, somewhere halfway, I realized I think I'm in deep trouble, because I'm unable to push the miniature up to a standard which I feel that would be alright for my 90-minute paint works. Okay, so the thing is, when this was happening, I sort of reverted back to my normal painting methodology. Towards the last, I would say 10 to 15 minutes, I went back to my old painting methodology, and hence I would say that this is a combination of two different methodologies. But the thing is, what I enjoyed about this process is that I had the opportunity to try something new, and I think this opportunity doesn't come very often, because how often do I look at something and say, hey, I want to be different on this piece? Okay, so anyways, this is my second week of doing this challenge. I'm painting one miniature a day for 90 minutes. So anybody is welcome to join in this challenge. Just hashtag painter in 90 minutes, MINS. And yeah, I would love to see all your works on Instagram. Otherwise you can just watch me paint all my miniatures in 90 minutes. Because I feel that this is a good warm-up every day so that I can start the day well. Okay, anyway, back to the miniature. From the box art, what I see is that the bottom cloak is a warmer green, and the top cloak tended to be a more emerald, cooler green. But this is one of the problems which I identified when I'm painting the miniature. After painting the entire miniature, I felt that because the light is green, the hood is green, the dress is green, so the entire miniature is very green. And I think that really affected the readability, because you can't really tell what material is what. It's all pretty close, and the emerald light wasn't really helping. But what I really liked about this miniature is that the reds, while the details are not as clear as I would like them to be, if you look really closely and if you study them, you can roughly make out each individual red, and you can place some details in there which lends to the readability of the miniature. Okay, now there are two white reds on his shoulder, so that's why I'm painting it right now. So one thing that I really like about painting in this style is that I can immediately read the miniature, and I know where I can place the midtones and the highlights. But that also therein also lies a challenge, because at the start I should have been a little bit more controlled with the colors, rather than being quite liberal and slapping on the values. Then after that you have to clean up back and forth. As you guys can see, I'm placing the little details on the reds right now. The tails, the more flashy bits, the red eyes. So as you can see, this is honestly a pretty complicated miniature. There's so many things going on this miniature. There are rats coming out. He has a flute and skeleton bones on his necklace. He has a pet rat. He has a gong on the top of his hunchback, so on and so forth. So one challenge for painting something so complicated is that you need to make everything more readable. So that's why what I'm doing is that I'm also putting in more details onto the basket. Now I'm starting to make the field light. So the field light was made using German camel beige and chimera green. So one useful trick that how I like to do the field light is I turn the model to the angle of the field light, and I see big surfaces. I look at the big surfaces and I paint in these big surfaces in this particular color. So as you guys can see, this field light color, because the original color is also used in the hood of the miniature, I found that this field light probably was not as suitable for this miniature. In my opinion, if I had an opportunity to repaint one of these miniatures again, I would have chose a different field light. I originally chose this color because I wanted to portray that this miniature lived underground, and while being underground, I would think that there's a lot of cool green light around. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to push the value of the hood so that it stands out from the field light. But unfortunately, I still believe that the field light really made the miniature a lot worse. I would have considered today's painting challenge a fail because I didn't achieve the standard which I hoped to achieve. But it's okay because every day is an experiment. Every day we can try something new. So not every day is an on day, and you should always give yourself some room for mistakes, because if you hold yourself to a really high standard every day, I think painting wouldn't be as pleasurable as it should be, because painting should always be fun. It's a leisure activity for many people, and it should remain that way. You shouldn't put too much pressure on yourself. So at this stage, looking at the entire miniature, I feel that because I placed the values in the initial stage, I feel that I'm not at the skill level to match the values all the way up to where they are. But what I like about this method is that it pushes the contrast really extremely. So if you guys have been following my other painting videos, right here, links in the show notes for this 90-minute challenge, I like to be building up the values slowly from a darker color all the way up, because I find that this gives me a lot more control. But for the big child creative guys, they are also experienced and they are really good painters, and they are immediately able to grasp their concept of value even from the sketch. And I think that's really, really insane. So I do feel that after this method, the value sketch is quite disjointed, and I will be fixing it after the challenge, and I'll show you the results. One thing about these challenges is that you got to keep your morale relatively stable during the painting challenge, because if you get demoralized, you still would need to finish the miniature. I would say that, to me, I hold myself responsible to the end product, so that even though I might not like the process as well, I would want to push all the way to the finish, and that is my mindset when I'm painting these 90-minute miniatures. Of course, there will be setbacks, but you gotta expect that. And we are reaching the last 20 minutes. So as I said, once I reach this part of the miniature painting process, I think I'm quite screwed because the values are not correct. I am a painter which places a lot of importance for values. You can watch my video about values right here. The links will be in the show notes. And I should be putting a card somewhere on the top right hand corner. Alright, so this is the final reaching the final result soon. So just adding in a little bit of texture, a little bit of detail. entire miniature. So at this time, usually my camera would be running out of battery very soon. So there's a chance that you guys might miss the last few seconds of my painting process. But I'll be showing you the results, and after that, side by side, I'll be showing you what I've done in an additional 5 to 10 minutes to change the miniature. So as you guys can see, at these final stages, I'm always pushing the contrast. I'm always making sure that the shape is correct. So you just gotta make sure that each highlight shape, each shadow is correct. By correct, I mean coherent to the rest of the miniature, so that it communicates the same thing. So right now I can immediately spot that the values of the reds are extremely off, because they look like one solid lump, and I will be needing to make some changes there to make to rescue the reds so that they don't fade into darkness. So as you guys can see, the result on the left was after the painting challenge, and the result of the right, I changed the color of the cloak and the dress to a more leathery brown, because I feel that this will lend to the ambient light a lot better. I'm also changing the ambient light to a bit more blue. So as you guys can see, I wasn't entirely happy with the process, but it's part and parcel of experimenting, because when you are doing something under time limitations, of course you have to adapt, you have to change, and after the challenge you can always modify and change and paint the way you want things to be. However, during the challenge gives you an opportunity to try something new, try something that you've never tried before, and I believe that these are the ways that you can become a better painter. So do you like content like this? Let me know in the comments below. Give me a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you know when we post the next videos. I post videos almost every day now, so don't miss out. This is great content which I hope will benefit you, and if you can afford it, become a patron today. Alright, the $2 Patreon tier, you get extended play to many of my videos, so that you can scrutinize every single brushstroke which I do, and hopefully we can all become better painters together. If you can afford to go for a higher tier, please go for it, because it allows me to keep producing awesome content like this. I'd like to thank my patrons for supporting me, and I hope to see you in the next Painted in 90 Minute Challenge. See you guys.